Me is Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. So, I got a message from someone asking me to talk briefly and clearly about the Age of Aquarius. This person told me they've heard the song, they told me they've, read things on YouTube or listened to things on YouTube, read things online, and they wanted to know what is the bottom line with the Age of Aquarius. There's a lot of conflicting information. I think that's why some people get kind of confused with it, because depending upon who you ask, we're either in the Age of Aquarius or going into the Age of Aquarius. It depends on who is the mathematician that calculates the cycle. Because basically, the earth, the universe, everything works on cycles. So the age of Aquarius is the cycle of the zodiac that the earth will be going through. So from what I understand, it goes backwards. So it's not coming from Capricorn to Aquarius, it's going from Pisces to Aquarius. So, like I said, some people say we've started already, and some people say we're going into it. Either way, I don't really care which one it is. Like, to me, it's just like either way is here, it's either coming or is already here. So, for me, the Age of Aquarius is kind of scary, and I'm going to tell you why. The age that is going on in the zodiac is generally based upon, like I said, the sign. So we're coming out of, or we just came out of, Pisces. Pisces is a sign of martyrs. It's a sign of emotion. It's a sign of illusions. So we're coming from an era that would have been ruled more by those characteristics. Illusion. A lot of illusions was going on. A lot of emotion, a lot of things going on during that time. So that time period, which is like, it got to be like I think it's like 1,000 or a couple thousand years. It's a long time. So during that whole Pisces stretch of how many centuries that was, we dealt with those illusions. We dealt with those emotions, that martyrdom. Think about how many crucifixions happened during that time. Lynchings of all kind happened during that time. That would have been the dominant kind of energy. And if you look back on it, you can see it. If you read up about Pisces and then look back at history for the entire cycle of Pisces, you'll see a lot of that energy, that Piscean energy coming to the surface in politics, in religion, in everything, if you choose to look at it. And likewise, now we are going into Aquarius, or are in Aquarius. And that kind of worries me because it takes on the positive and the negative of the sign. So Aquarius has some really wonderful characteristics. The sign is all about freedom. The sign is all about helping other people. It's all about healing. It's all about intelligence. It's all about, being yourself, being authentic, being original, being creative, being kind of quirky, kind of eccentric. So we're talking about some good stuff. But when you look at the flip, when you look at the negative characteristics of the darker Aquarius energy, the first thing that comes to my mind is anarchy. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, because I'm like, Aquarius are some rebellious motherfuckers, and rebellion isn't a bad thing when it's time to rebel. Sometimes it's time to rebel, people, straight up. Like all y'all know, throughout history, there have been times when something unfair was going on and it was time to rebel. The Civil War, slavery, it's been different times, many, many times for many, many different groups of people. When you had to rebel, you had to raise up. The United States started from a rebellion. We had to raise up, as a group, as a country. We were being unfairly taxed. So it was time to raise up. So rebellions to me aren't bad things. But when you got a whole lot of centuries of rebellions, so to me that feels like centuries of anarchy. That feels like centuries of like government-ness. That sounds like the Wild Wild West to me. That's what it sounds like. Now mind you, it could not be like that. It could be more positive than that, and I hope that it is. But when I first heard the Age of Aquarius and started to think about it, I thought about the negative, and I'm like, shit, we're rebellious. We're kind of detached. Feelings are difficult for us. So we're coming from the age of Pisces, where feelings were running rampant. Now we're coming into Aquarius, where feelings are going to be kind of awkward. So all of the bad things about the Aquarian energy is what made me be like, we're aloof. So the energy of the planet, the energy of the people on the planet could become more aloof, more rebellious, more anarchy, less family oriented. So I was thinking about deterioration of these units, and some of which are very helpful to our communities. So that's what worried me about it. So for the age of Aquarius, when it does start, or if it did start, we're going to have to make sure that if we are rebelling, if we're tearing up the streets, if we're overthrowing the government, that we are putting something else in place that works. That's going to be my thing. All of you who are watching this, in years from now, if you're watching this in 100, 200, 300, 400, 5 years from now, remember I said, whatever you're doing, if any of you can hear me, whatever you're doing, you got to put something else in place for what you've now torn down. You have to. You can't just take away the governmental structure and just leave everybody in total anarchy running around, burning things, setting fires, in the middle of the street. You have to put something else. Spirituality maybe would be a good one. We've tried that before. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. The political systems have worked to a certain extent, but we've had some unfairness and injustice in those. So you're going to have to find something that works and not just tear everything apart, rebel against everything. And now what? Now where's your structure? How you going to learn? How you going to evolve? How you going to bring forward all that Aquarian technology when you have nothing but anarchy? That has to be balanced out. And again, I mentioned technology. I'm expecting some really cool technology from you guys. I'm going to be looking down from heaven, hopefully, looking at that technology. So that's another thing about the age of Aquarius, is that technology should continue. I mean, technology continues regardless of the age, but during the age of Aquarius, I'm really expecting some cool stuff. I'm expecting a time machine. To be honest with you, I'm expecting some really cool stuff, because Aquarius and that innovative nature and all that intelligence, y'all better get up some good stuff, So that's the age of Aquarius. It's a time that can be scary, or it's a time that could be great. Because remember the humanitarian side of Aquarius. So we talked about the deconstruction of those other units, and I guess Aquarius building new ones, finding new structures I probably can't even think of right now. Brand new kind of communities and brand new family structures. I mean, it could be 100% better. Who knows? But that's all I'm saying, is that it's kind of frightening, because it's a lot of change. It's a lot of change I'm expecting. So that's the age of Aquarius. It's the age when the Aquarius zodiac sign rules, which I thought was really fucking cool until I started thinking about it. Then I was like, what I really would like to do, I would like to go backwards and find out, based on the wheel, when was the last age of Aquarius and what happened during that time. I don't know if I don't even know when that was. I have no clue. But one day I'm going to Google it and try to research when was the last one and what was going on. Was it total chaos like I think it could be? So that's what I know about the age of Aquarius, guys. There's a lot more online. There's all kinds of predictions. There's all kinds of more stuff online, but that's the basic gist of it that everybody keeps on regurgitating. The biggest thing they argue about is the time frame. So are we already there, or are we going into it? A lot of people felt like it already went down. And I know for a fact, when you're dealing with planets and when you're dealing with astrology and things like that, you start to feel the energy before it starts anyway. Think about Mercury retrograde. Before Mercury retrograde starts, there's always a shadow period, and when it ends, there's a shadow period. And people always say that they continue to feel the effects of Mercury retrograde in the shadow periods. So I always know what's coming because I'm like, oh snap, I feel it. Here come Mercury retrograde, and it's always right in the shadow period. So even if the Age of Aquarius hadn't started yet, we're close enough to it that we would be in the shadow period. So you will be feeling it and seeing it. And if you look around at our politics, if you look around at our spiritual systems, you see evidence of it. You see a lot of people coming into what they call new age spirituality, which is really nothing more than regurgitated ancient spirituality. But you see a lot more of that, and that's something that is very big with Aquarius. So you're seeing more and more of that. So even if we haven't gotten into it, we're definitely in the shadow. Likewise, you see a lot more governmental structures not being quite as traditional or the same as they were before. Regardless of what you think about Donald Trump and his whole campaign, if you take a look at it, it's a big difference from the traditions of the past. It's like a new age has come in, and some of us are like about what came in, but look at the fact that something new came in. You see, none of the other U.S. presidents had any of that going on. And this new age of what we're going to accept from our president is what I'm seeing with that energy. So we may have a president who's divorced or single, which we usually don't have. We may get a woman. We may get a gay person, a trans person. We may get God knows what, because it looks like what we're accepting from a president has changed. Obama was really, even though he was African American, he was the last traditional president. This president is nowhere near traditional. And I don't know what's going to come next, but looking at who's running, it looks like we're going to get another non-traditional president, if not the same one. So it looks like we are in an age of great changes. And then you can look at other countries and see, look at the big changes in Korea. Big changes in Korea and a lot of healing going on. Healing is representational of the waters of Aquarius. So you can look around and be like, you know what? Even if we not there, I see the shadow. I see the shadow everywhere. Everywhere the light touches. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. If you want to send me a love donation, I'll leave my PayPal. If you would like to send me a gift, I'll leave my Amazon wish list. If you want to get a tarot reading done, please email me for an appointment. If you would like me to answer a free question, a general question for Asking Aquarius, please email that to me as well. You can drop it underneath here in the comments section. Thank you for being here. Please give me a thumbs up. Please pass on my video, and please come back because I have so much more to say. See you later.